All right, next up is Saurin. Bro, he is so twinky here. I'm sorry.
Wait.
We're gonna rank them, boys. It's time for another tier list video. Hooray! It's not like people got mad at me over the last one. No, that's just not true. So we got, I think it's 24 new commanders in Modern Horizons 3. Let's get this show on the road, people. All right, so we got Kozlik, the Broken Reality. I actually really like this Kozlik a lot. I've seen people say like, oh, he's not that good. He's like, half of the reason you played original Kozlik was just for the card draw and the big body. This is like more power across more bodies. You kind of do this like weird mind rot on a person, just make them lose 2 cards. If they manifest creature cards, then they can turn face up at any time. That part might suck, but even then, if they manifest, you know, creatures with ETBs and whatnot, they lose those. It's still like they lose 2 cards on hand, especially if they're non-creatures, right? He does a lot, I think, for his mana cost. For 9 mana, you get like what? It's 9 plus 2 manifests plus the anthem. That's 19 power. You get 19 power across 3 bodies, and you draw 4 cards, and somebody else loses 2 cards. That's a lot. You could do like Deceiver of Form to turn your manifests into like big Annihilating Eldrazi. So maybe this deck is a little lighter on mana curve, and you just run a few like utility Eldrazi, like Argent of Kozlik for recursion and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it exists. I think in terms of like just raw value for what he provides for yourself, I honestly think he's probably is the strongest of the 3 new titans we got in the set. But as a commander, I mean, he draws cards, right? Like you played the Oath of Gatewatch Kozlik for the card draw alone, because you would just play all these mana rocks and dump your hand, and then just cast them, refill your hand, and start casting giant 8, 9, 10 drop Eldrazi. He's manifest too. I think that's cool. He's an anthem. He helps closing him out. He kind of gives you an avenue to go wide, rather, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna put him in A tier. I think he provides the most value alone by himself compared to the other titans in the set. We got Emrakul, the World Anew, Madness for 6. Cardless, which won't come into play if you're playing commander, because she's gonna be in your command zone, or if you're playing her as a commander, rather. What are you doing if you see this in a command zone, right? What are you doing? I feel like you kind of gimp yourself a bit, because people can see the cast trigger coming, so people are just gonna be sure not to like overcommit against you. The protection is nice, obviously. I will say she is a flying commander with. Actually, yeah, like she's a flying commander at a 12/12, so she 2-shots people with commander damage, and she's got protection from like everything. If she leaves the battlefield, you sack all your creatures. I don't really think that's ever gonna matter. I feel like people are just gonna wrath if you cast her. I don't really know many people who play like Soul Shatter in their decks, and that's like the only way you'd lose her without getting just outright wrathed. Problem with that is that she doesn't provide card draw, and I feel like colorless commanders really need card draw. At least if you're building typical Eldrazi. I mean, what other way would you build her even? I don't know. She just kind of is a big, dumb, fat, splashy spell in the command zone. She doesn't really give you cards like Kozliks do. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like, because like there's always been like the Ulamog, Season's Hunger, and Emrakul, the Promised End. You could play those, but no one does because they want card draw. You want to draw cards. I'll put her in C tier. 12 mana command zone's a lot. I don't think you really want a effect like that in the command zone, because again, I think people are just gonna be more wary of the cast trigger. Because they'll just be sure to not overcommit their board, so they lose everything if they get hit by her cast trigger. Next up, we got Ulamog Defiler. If you ever wanted to like feel the joy of like original Emrakul's Annihilator 6 trigger, this is how you do it, right? Like previously the best thing we had was like Annihilator 4 on like original Ulamog and Kozlik. This could be like, dude, this could be like Annihilator 12 if you exile like a Galta with the cast trigger or something, right? Annihilator 4 already was like, you lose the game against certain decks. And Annihilator 12 was like, just kill someone. You target the green player with this, and you exile their 7-drop, 8-drop, whatever. and then you just kill their whole board, right? The ward is actually pretty good too. It's 2 permanents. They can sack tokens, so it's not so much a big deal in token decks. The capture trigger I think is actually really nice. Just target the blue player and like exile all their combo pieces, or any combo deck in general. As a commander, if you really hate combo decks, sure, there's a very decent like luck roll that the cash trigger just kind of exiles the combo player's pieces and then they just lose. Unless we're playing food chain and then you hit their Miss Hollow Griffin and Eternal Scourges, but you don't hit their food chain. In that case, you help them. That sucks, right? That sucks. But you know, this is how it is. I think he probably honestly is a better pick than Emrakul for the command zone slot, right? Your opponents can play around Emrakul, they can't play around Ulamog really that much. Where is he? There he is. I'll put Ulamog in B tier. There you go. Coslick A, Ulamog B, Emrakul C. Great start. We got Shill Gengar, Sire of Famine. Apparently this is the demon that created all the vampires on Innistrad, or so I have heard. Interesting. I'm questioning how worth it even is to go into the angel theme here, honestly. Okay, so you probably want to run some, right? Because his trigger just requires you to sack 6 blood tokens, so you can like activate his thing, get your whole graveyard back, and then just sack 1 angel and get enough blood tokens to do it again. Problem with that is that all our creatures have finality counters, so it's kind of like, what's the point? Right? I'm really not sure where this guy lies, honestly. You know, in a way, he actually is a very good reanimation enabling commander, right? Because yeah. Okay, I see it now. So you sack creatures to make blood tokens. You crack them early on to actually bin all your big threats you want to cheat out, like all your giant demons or angels or whatever, right? Yeah. Okay. So the blood tokens are meant to be as like, use them early to fill your graveyard, and then when you're ready, just get your whole graveyard back and just win the game from there. Alright. I see it. I see the pattern. Opponents can just see what's going to happen from a mile away, so they're just going to kill him. Like, this guy's a must remove, right? Or he's not, depending on, what your graveyard is. If someone graveyard hates you, do you care about him at all? I'll put him in B tier. I think he's cool. I'm not really sure what his decklist would look like, though. You got Ashling Flame Dancer. So no matter what, you're always going to loot whenever you cast or copy any instant sorcery spell, no matter what. So fill your graveyard with a bunch of instant sorceries. You can go for a Mythic's Mastery play. I mean, on average, right? If you play like 3 1-drop instant sorcery spells in one turn, or you just play rituals along with that, you're gonna net at least 1 mana, maybe 2 if you're playing like, just free instant sorceries like Gut Shot, all that stuff. Having a Leyline Tyrant in the command zone, I think, is honestly kind of intimidating, considering the fact that red gets all these like giant X damage burn spells. So that's probably gonna be really scared of your opponents. So I would definitely bank up on like deflecting swats, bolt bends, kill trickeries, any way you can like protect her at instant speed is gonna be good in my opinion. Lightning Greaves, boots, all that good stuff. And then you're just playing like this really cool storm deck that can go for like a Mystics win, Underworld Breach win. I think she's cool. In terms of like mono red commander designs, dude, she's actually really cool. I'll put her in A tier. Skoa Embermane. Okay, alright, dude. Skoa is a limited card. Don't get mad at me for putting him in below F. We got Eladamri Corvectal. I still think this is like everything you possibly want in a mono green commander. He's card advantage, he's mana advantage, but let you cheat things into play. You just cast creatures top of your deck. Go elf ball because he himself is an elf. Sure. Go mono green good stuff because you can. He's just pushed green slop. He's just pushed green. He's literally just pushed green slop. D tier, not because he's bad, because he's a very bland design that I think is very not interesting. Next up, we got 6, Ren's other half. So, I honestly think 6 is actually pretty cool. There's a ton of green cards that let you, like, search for a ton of lands and put them into your hand. And those just don't see play at all. Like beyond Cultivate Economics Reach, there's also a ton of weird ones. Like, I think it's like Discover the Horizon. There's a Storm card in green that lets you go and grab a ton of bases in your hand. I think it's called Sprouting Vines. So that card would be really cool here. I think a commander that gives your lands extra utility, not by playing them, but by discarding them, is actually really cool. I think it's actually a really neat design space. I guess the question at that point is like, what are you retracing, right? So the first thing I think of is like Mishra's Bauble or Urza's Bauble. Those are 0 mana artifacts. Let's say you have like 5 lands in your hand, right? You just keep casting Urza's Baubles or Mishra's Bauble over and over again. You know, I got 5 lands, I'll discard them all to cast Mishra's Bauble 5 times and crack it 5 times, right? So I'll draw 5 cards next turn. I just bin 5 lands, so that enables all my cards that let me pull lands from my graveyard to the battlefield or even to my hand, right? I think it's cool, right? I much prefer designs like this over just like, oh, grand creature, go unga bunga. 6 is cool. I like her a lot. Really cool design space. You know what? You know what? Yeah, S tier. S tier. I like it. S tier. Arna Kennerud, Sky Captain. You can build her either counters, equipment, or auras. All of which I think are probably pretty good. If you go auras, you do lose out on all the green enchantresses to get card draw off your auras. There are also a couple in white though. There's, I think it's Core Spirit Dancer, which is like a 2 mana enchantress for only auras. And then there's, of course, there's just good old Mesa Enchantress, which is great in that deck. Equipment's not bad either. White has a ton of equipment tutors. Counters, I think, could be interesting. I really don't dabble enough in +1/+1 counter decks to know for sure how good that version is. I want to say without Grain, it's going to be a little weak because you lose out on Hardened Scales and Branching Evolution, all the counter doublers, right? But then again, she herself is a counter doubler, so do you really need them? Do you really need them? Maybe not. Maybe not. She's flexible. There's a ton of different ways to build her. You could build, like, auras. You could build Boggles. Esper Boggles. You could totally do that. I like her. I like her. Arna, you get A tier. And you know what? As I look at this list, I'm realizing that I should probably move like everyone down a tier. I feel like Ulamog being in B tier and Shill Gengar also being in B tier is like not correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. That feels a little better to me. So Genku Future Shaper. This is Tamiyo's husband apparently. Does he know that his wife has turned to a stand? I don't know. Maybe. 2 white blue for a legendary 2/5 Moonfolk wizard creature. Doesn't have flying. Flavor Fail. Instant F tier. I think he's weird, honestly. I think he's really weird. My instinct is to compare this guy to like Brago. Brago just lets you blink your whole board every turn. This guy's the same mana cost, and what does he do? He's a way to help you expand your board. If you get like a Training Grounds out there, his ability actually becomes a legit threat, I think, because then it's only 3 mana to put a counter on your whole board. You can very easily go like 3 mana twice in a row, pay 1 white blue, 1 white blue, 2 +++ counters on your whole board. I think that's like legit scary. So I think the Fox is the best one by default. I think most of the time you're not going to be going for the Moonfolk or the Rat unless you're, you know, it's going to be your second and third triggers. I guess you could go like Flying sub-theme and go for the Moonfolk first and, you know, run all your Flying Matters cards. You could do that, I guess, and be a little more biased towards flying in general. The fact that it leaves the battlefield means that non-token permanents just being destroyed in general gets you 2/2 Foxes with Vigilance. Or whatever, Moonfolk, Rat, whatever. So he is kind of like board insurance as well, right? That's pretty cool. I like that. That's interesting. He's a little insurance in the command zone. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first read this guy, I was like, whatever. But as I'm sitting here discussing him now to myself and thinking about what he could do, I'm actually getting pretty high on him. I'll put him in B tier for now. We got Imsker Iron Eater. So this is just like Power Crap Bosch, right? Like Bosch is like unplayable. This Imsker is just Bosch but better. He's card draw. He's an extra color, so you get all like your Marionette Masters and the new Marionette Apprentice, right? And with Modern Horizons 3, there really wasn't any reason to actually build like tried and true affinity in Commander, because what's the payoff? Oh, Mirror Enforcer, 0 mana 4/4. I mean, it's cool, but it's not that good in a format with 120 life you gotta beat through. The black, I think, gives you a ton in terms of like artifact effects. Marionette Master, I swear there's like a black card that lets you like second artifact and draw cards equal to the mana value. That might be wrong, I might be mistaken, but I think it's cool, right? Pay for second Mirror Enforcer, deal 7 damage to someone's face. That's cool. He gives you card draw, so you can play all your 0 mana artifacts, your Mem Knights, Ornithopters, and be okay with it, because you're gonna draw cards when you cast your 2 mana 5/5 commander. Like if there's any commander here I'm gonna build, it's probably this guy. He's probably great in a budget too, which is amazing. He seems fun to play. I think playing like actual affinity in Commander seems really fun. Paying 4 to deal like 7 damage to someone's face just sounds fun to do. Imsker, I'll put you in A tier. Kudo, King Among Bears. So the obvious synergy that everyone points out is original Elesh Norn, because your opponent's creatures are 2/2s. What does Elesh Norn do? Gives them -2/-2. So you can assemble your own, like, it's a board wipe, and then also like a just no one can play creatures ever, which is pretty good. I can't lie. The sadist in me really wants this guy to make them actually lose all abilities and just be humility in the command zone, because I'm awful like that. It probably shouldn't say that, because I'm sure command players would be seething if humility at 2 mana was printed for the commander zone. I think hate bears, ironically, is probably good as well. Hate bears plus anthems mean your hate bears are always winning combat. Let's your opponents double block, in which case, you know, they're putting more on the line. I think hate bears is cool in casual commander. I think like hardcore just like stacks for no reason is cringe. Like stacks is cool when there's a theme behind it. If you're just Spirit Resistance turn 2, why? I don't know, just felt like it. Like Blood Moon's fine. Harbinger of the Seas, the Blue Moon is fine. Stacks pieces with no like flair behind them are cringe, right? I like Blood Moon. Blood Moon, Spirit Resistance. I'll put him in. He's a 2-mana commander. Y'all know I love my cheap commanders. I do love my cheap commanders. Is A tier right? There's 5 A tier commanders. We're like halfway through the list and there's 5 A tier commanders. That feels not correct. I'll leave it, whatever. Nadu, Winged Wisdom. To make players swear he's different. He's not different. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes a target with spell or ability, reveal top card of your library, puts a land card, put it onto the battlefield, otherwise, put it into your hand. This ability triggers only twice each turn. Ooh! We upgraded, chat. It's twice a turn now instead of once. Ooh! Oh my god. Guys, it's he provides reparations in the command zone for your stuff getting targeted. That's cool, I guess. But once again, it's just a Cynic commander that's ramp and card draw. That's cringe. Shuko spiked to like $15 apparently because of this guy, which is so cringe. I am so disappointed in all of you. How? Literally, how does that happen? This guy is not interesting. Oh, yes. Ramp and card draw. It's not like we've seen this commander design pushed and printed like 5 times before. I don't like it. It's just ramp and card draw. But bounce man. The 0 mana equip artifacts are so good in this deck. I don't care. Okay. Let's fix this, alright? Eladamri is in D tier not because he's bad, but because he's just like pushed green slop. His design is not interesting at all. Nadu, at the very least, tries to make equipment stuff good, right? We're gonna move Eladamri down. I don't like him. We got Necrobloom. We got Field of Dead in the command zone, baby. Land cards in your graveyard have dredge. That part's nuts. I could have swore Wizard said it like that, like dredge was too strong. We're never gonna print it ever again, and we got one that's also a Field of Dead in the command zone. It's Abzan lands, right? That's already a new design in general, right? I'm pretty sure we don't have a Abzan land commander. Giving your lands dredge, I think it's really nuts. Like, you just... Because you get your lands back, you mill more lands, and you get more lands back, and you mill more lands. Just a never-ending cycle. You could honestly just build Necrobloom as this, like, just incidental value engine and just be, like, a Reanimator deck. You don't even gotta be a land deck. You could just have the Necrobloom be this, like, value engine that gives you some incidental mill for card draw. Maybe makes you some 2/2 zombies, right? You could be aristocrats even. Sack creatures, do land shenanigans. I really think there's like a lot of ways to build this thing that's really interesting. I'd be here for like 15, 20, 30 minutes if I actually went into all of it. Which I have other commanders to get to. Necrobloom, I'm putting you in S tier because I think you honestly are probably the most flexible commander in this whole list, easily, without a doubt. We got Phlage, Titan of Fire's Fury. So, for comparison's sake here, right? To the other two Titans we got. Uro gave you life gain, card draw, and ramp at 3 mana in the command zone. That's a lot, alright? Kroxa was 2 mana to have every opponent discard a card, and if they didn't discard a non-land card this way, they lost 3 life. Right? So, 3 for 1, or life gain ramp card draw. What does Phlage do? Oh, maybe kill a small creature. Otherwise, you just hit a player in the face for 3 and gain 3 life. I really think Phlage, of all things, probably should have been 2 mana. I guess okay, maybe not. She probably wasn't 2 mana, because if she was, she'd be like a staple in Burn in Modern, right? Because then they'd have 8 lightning helixes. That's probably too much, actually. Okay, yeah, no, don't do that. It could have been 4 damage, I guess. That would have been nice. I'll put her in C tier. Roshine, Roaring Prophet. Here's the cycle I foresee happening with her, right? You reveal, I don't know, we'll say a good number for just starting is 3, right? You reveal 3 X cards, right? Cast a Hydra. It'll be a 6/6, an 8/8, something like that, right? On the first Hydra. You play one of Green's 20 different variations of drawing cards equal to a creature's power, right? So, Life's Legacy, Momentous Fall, Greater Good, Return of Wild Speaker, all that stuff, right? You sack the Hydra, which is 10/10. You draw 10 cards, or 8 cards, or whatever the number is, right? Now you got more cards to reveal with Roshine. So, next turn, you just cast a bigger Hydra. And then you sack that Hydra and draw even more cards. And it just snowballs out of control until you're drawing like 40 cards off of 1 Hydra you sacked. Or whatever big, generic, fat X-mana creature you cast, right? To be up 30 million. Problem with this is that Roshine needs to not die for that to work. But that's fine, because Green keeps getting all these like silly 1-mana save spells. So you can just run those. Or your Lightning Greaves, or your Swiftfoot Boots, or whatever. If she survives 1 turn cycle and you're allowed to sack a giant X creature, you honestly might just win from there, because you should draw a way to protect her at instant speed, or just protect her in general with like boots, some J's, some Nikes, right? Reliquary Tower and Thought Vessel are slam dunks in this deck. You will draw so many cards in this deck if built properly. I want to put her in A tier, because that feels like on the same line with the rest of these guys. But that'll be the 6th A tier commander. Whatever, you know what, who cares? Who's next? A Johnny. Oh, we haven't covered any of the Flipwalkers yet. Yo, okay. Alright. And they're all lined up too. It's perfect. Alright, first one. We got a Johnny and a Cattle Pariah. When a Johnny enters, make his brother is a cat. Oh, that's lame, dude. This should be Jazal. It's so obviously meant to be Jazal. Why is it not Jazal? Oh my god. Okay. I guess you don't make his brother. Lame. Whenever one or more other cats you control die, his brother, whenever his brother dies, because that's how his spark ignited, his brother died, and he got angry, and he transforms. Boros cats, huh? Vorthos players will love him, right? You can role play all the righteous anger of Johnny You can play OG Lightning Helix, not OG, but the one with like the Helix coming out of his chest. Is like putting his arms out. Is roaring in the rain, dude. Easy, one of the best arts ever. I'm just saying. My problem with this is that I don't know how good a Boros cat deck is gonna be. Arabo, the green-white cat deck, that deck had green cats for support, and it had to rely on this like really weird equipment sub-theme, which made me really not like that deck. You lose green, red gives you almost nothing in terms of cat selection. I've already checked. There's nothing there. So you just have red for, I don't know, what? Removal? Protection? With trickery and bolt bend and all that? I don't know. Putting a +1/+1 counter on your whole board can honestly get out of hand pretty fast, believe it or not. It's actually like really strong. Look, I'm a Johnny fanboy, right? Johnny is easily like my top 3 characters in this whole game. But I think Mono White Cats is gonna have some problems. I'll put him atop the C tier. Tameo, Inquisitive Student. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. There's part of me that wants to like just actively try not to transform her, because then she's a 1-mana flyer, like evasive attacker that investigates every turn. That's good. That's good. You're in blue, so you get artifact synergies. You know what's useless? Cumberstone. This card is not good. No one plays this. You know why? Because giving your opponents -1/-0 is like nothing. It's like putting a wall of pillows to shield yourself from gunfire. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. It's good against token decks, I guess. But mono green player who's making 24/4s with their rampaging Baylofts in one turn is not gonna care about a -1/-0. Her -3 is fine, I guess. Are you doing Simic Spellslinger? I mean, okay, good for you, I guess, but it's not gonna be good. I don't like her, y'all. I really don't. And it hurts to say that, because like I think Tameo's cool. She turned to a stand, bro. She literally turned into a stand when she died. That was her whole thing. That's cool. Her son became a stand user. It sucks because I actively don't want to transform her. I want to keep her on the front side because her back has like no text. Her back is completely blank. I'll give her C tier. All right, next up is Saurin. Bro, he is so twinky here. He is so twinky here. I'm sorry. First time ever a commander has extort. That's cool. I understand why he makes food tokens and doesn't just gain a life outright. It's to try and set up for the -1 ability. So you make food tokens for 2 turns, then you sack them all at once, gain 6 life, hits 1 for 6. All right, I get that. He's kind of like a one-off Sanguine Bond. You just gain much, you cast Beacon of Immortality, gain much of life, kill someone with -1. Saurin legit can just kill someone with his -1 if you cast the right cards and gain enough life. That's legit. His +2 sucks, but you're in black-white. You got tons of ways to control a board. You got your board wipes and your toxic deluges, and you're in black-white. Those are creature colors. You could be like extort.deck, even though that's probably honestly not that good. Don't do that. His ultimate, I mean, it's there, but I don't really think you ever need to use it. You can steal a Eldrazi Titan with it. There's a +2 as well, so you get to the -6 rather quickly, right? I mean, he's life gain, he's life drain, he's Sanguine Bond in the command zone. Flipping him is super easy, and his -6 is great removal. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling S, y'all. I'm kind of feeling S. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, let's do it. S for Saurin. S for Saurin. There you go. S for Saurin. Ral Monsoon Mage. He kind of has Storm, right? He kind of has Storm. I mean, if you cast 6 instant and or source spells this turn, right? He enters with 6 additional loyalty. So you can just -8 immediately. And if you cast 7, he stays around after you do the -8 initially, right? I honestly think that Ral might be like an actually really good attempt from Wizards to make a actually fun to play against Storm deck. Like they tried before with Nostro, that really stupid Chimera from Creator Legends, and it just didn't do anything a Storm deck wanted to do. It was like you scryed a bunch, you hit a creature, you kill a creature, or you like gained some life. None of which Storm wants to do. Ral gives you a really big payoff, and you don't even have to storm that much. You don't gotta cast 20 spells. You gotta cast like 6 or 7. That's easy. That's no problem. It's fun. Yeah. Ral, you get A tier. I like ya. Grist. Of all the flip walkers you've covered in this, that are in this set, I think Grist very easily is the one that protects herself the best. Death Touch on a bunch of 1/1s is like an actual like deterrent. It's a legit problem. People don't want to swing into you because you'll just kill their 6/6 creatures with your 1/1 Death Touch creature. Her -2 is great. It's removal in the command zone. Her -6. I guess if you have like enough Zulaport Cutthroats in the graveyard, right, and enough small creatures, you just get back all your Zulaport Cutthroats and Blood Artists and all them. You just sack your whole board and win, probably, like something with that somehow, like with War and Soul Trader, the new zombie goblin wizard makes much treasure. You probably don't need them to be bigger than 1/1 because you just sack the whole board immediately and win from there, probably, ideally, anyways. I'll put her in A tier. Just, because this is A tier dot list, apparently. Pearl Ear, Mono White Boggles. Right? They want you to stack auras on things that are already enchanted, right? Just curiously, I want to see, is there anything that's like, we'll say mana value less than 3 with hexproof?
There's nothing. Thank you, son.
Maybe you play a bunch of Mother of Runes and just hope no one tries to kill your enchanted stuff with white removal spells. They are a good source of white card draw, right? That part's cool. Plus it's mana advantage on your auras as well. I think aura decks are cool. Enchantment decks are cringe. They're like so overdone. But aura decks are cool. I like aura decks. Aura decks, yay! Enchantment decks, ugh. I do kind of wish Wizards would stop doing this thing where it's like they make weak strategies better by just stapling draw cards and mana advantage on them. I kind of wish they'd stop doing that and find ways to make them powerful without doing that. But I understand drawing cards, making things cost less, like one of the best things you can do. There's a reason Simic is so hated in Commander, and it's because they draw lots of cards and ramp a lot. Pearl Ear. What can I say? You get A tier. What can I say? The dog. The dog is next. What does this thing do? 1 white for a 2/2 legendary dog creature. Flash. Whenever Ophelia attacks, exile up to 1 Earth target non-land permanent. Getting next end step. Return a card battlefield under control. If it under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Ophelia. What? I gotta swing this 2/2 dog at people to blank one thing? It comes back with 1/+1/+1 counter on it? Are you kidding me? This is a joke? Am I? No, I'm not dead. It's real life. Alright, cool. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Ophelia, get in there. Garbage. We got Harrigas, Erupting Nullkite. I could have swore it said Hellkite for the longest time, but it's not. It's Erupting Nullkite. I really like Emerge. I really wish they bring it back somehow. So seeing us get an Emerge commander is awesome. Kind of wish it was more than just mono red, but it's still cool. There's like a ton of creatures in red and colors for that matter that are like, when they die, add mana. Like Cathodion. There's Cathodion. There's original Suchi, but this thing costs like $70, so don't buy this for this deck. It's not worth it. Mere Moon Vessel, I guess, is not terrible. There's Suchi Cave Guard. Suchi Cave Guard. Reducing Eldrazi by 8, add 8 mana. I'm very interested in how Harrigas ends up being built. I'm very interested to see like what the inclusions are of this deck. Because you can't sack tokens. You have to sack non-token creatures, because Emerge only does something if the creature has a mana value, right? So you gotta play small creatures or reanimate small creatures. I'm not sure how you're gonna do that in mono red. Sneak attack is great in this deck. You can cheat creatures out for cheap with sneak attack or the new Perforos from Beyond Death. Well, newer Purphoros. You cheat a thing out, it's gonna die anyway. You sack that to emerge, and then you cast a giant Eldrazi or giant dragon, whatever, right? It's an emerge deck. I really like emerge. I think emerge is a really cool mechanic that I hope Wizards finds a way to bring back in the standard at some point, because it's cool. It's just a cool mechanic. The flavor of like the alien baby like bursting out of your chest, being an Eldrazi thing, that's cool. That's just cool. What can I say? Get A tier. What a great list, y'all. Modern Horizons 3, you have outdone yourself. What a great cast commanders. Look at this. Look how many A tiers we have, dude. We have 9 A tiers and 3 S tiers. Skoa, you're more so just there because you're designed for limited. You're obviously not meant to be a commander. Eladamri, I hate you. You know what, Philia? I'll put you in E tier. You don't deserve to be paired with Eladamri. Eladamri is just green slop. Eladamri is just pushed green slop. Great list. Good job, Wizards. This is a legit, like a really cool cast of commanders.